Tom ruptured his Achilles tendon. Before the rupture, Tom was taking an antibiotic for a bacterial infection. The antibiotic, Cipro, is known to cause such ruptures. Tom must have been taking Cipro. So this is an inductive argument, and this is cause and effect reasoning, because we're going from the effect back to the cause, and that's why prediction is not a good answer. Everybody got that? 12. In Texas Hold'em, pocket aces is the best starting hand. Against one random hand, pocket aces will win approximately 85% of the time. However, the odds of winning with pocket aces diminishes as the number of opponents increases. 73%, 64, 56, 49, 44, 39, 34, and 31 against 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 opponents respectively. Wes is all in with pocket aces against 9 opponents. Chances are that Wes will not win the hand despite starting with pocket aces. This is an inductive argument based on probabilities. Any questions? Okay. 13. Joe is agnostic. Hence, Joe neither affirms or denies the existence of a god or gods. Look up agnostic in the dictionary, and you'll see that that's exactly what it means. So this is a deductive argument based on definitions. So that is type 1. So deductive type 1. 14, with respect to the current Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I'm going to have to side with what Einstein claimed. He said that peace is the best strategy, hence a ceasefire needs to begin immediately, followed by peace negotiations. So this is an appeal to authority, so that's an inductive argument, and here it's number 5, okay? 15, in a very rare tragic event, a local child has died as a result of rabies. Authorities conclude the child must have been recently bitten or scratched by a rabid animal while playing outside. This is cause and effect reasoning from the effect back to the cause. So that's inductive type 4. Any questions about this? Okay. All right. And now look, on average, the average was good. Just, I think, slightly below B average. And remember, each chapter is really different. So if you did not do well on chapter 1, that doesn't preclude you from getting an A on chapter 2. Does everybody understand that? And as I had already said, if you do better on 4 than 1, I use the score on 4 for both test 1 and test 4. Okay? So if you didn't do well, you need to understand what your mistakes were. If you don't, come see me in office hours, and you have a way to redeem yourself. That's the chapter 4 test, right? So no panicking yet. I'll tell you when to panic. Okay. All right, last time we were here, we had started into chapter 2. So what I want to do, I asked you to go over 2.1, the homework 2.1. So I'd like to go over 2.1 now and make sure that we all know how to do this stuff, okay? Now we had started out and done a number of problems. Does anyone remember where we had left off? What's the last problem we did together as a class? Anyone? No one has this in their notes? I think we did up to 6 or something, so I'm just going to arbitrarily start with 7, okay? And remember that I suggest when you're translating that it be a 2-step process. The first step is find all the statement constants, or all the statements, and replace them with statement constants. And then work on putting in the logical operators, okay? okay? Now, instead of writing all these sentences up on the board, I'm gonna do step one as I go from here to putting it on the board, and then we'll finish off with the step two. Okay, so 7, Darla has a dash hound, that's D, that's a statement constant D, and Catherine has a Catahoula, that's C, okay? And this is a conjunction, so we have D and C. That's it for number 7. Okay, these are not hard at all. Okay, 8. Darla has a dash hound, so that's D, and then we have the word unless, and then it says Al dislikes Airedales. Now we have to be careful here because A is Al likes Airedales, so really when it's saying Al dislikes Airedales, it's saying not A. Does everybody understand that? So I'm going to write not A. And so this is D, and unless, I've told you the easiest way to handle unless is to just say or, and then not A. Okay. Now, there is an alternative, which I really don't want you to get in the habit of doing, but this is also correct. Not D, then not A. Okay. Some people, when they hear unless, they think if not blah, then blah. Okay. But it's much easier to just do it that way because changing it to a conditional, you have to add a negation that's not in the sentence. Okay. So 9, unless Darla, so that's just Darla, well, unless Bob likes beagles, okay? And that's just this. Of course, again, we could do this, okay? But I prefer you get in the habit of writing it this way. 10, Bob likes beagles, or Al likes Airedales. This is simple, Bob or B or A. Any questions on these? We are going to get to some much more complicated translations, but first we're just going to make sure we understand the basics. And then the complex translations, they're not that hard because it's just doing all these little things multiple times. Does everybody understand? And these little things are simple. So if we break it up, it will be simple when we get to the other stuff. So 11, if Bob likes beagles, that's B, then, and it says, it is not the case that, so I'll just say not, and then it says Al likes Airedales, so that's A. Okay. So if then is a conditional, and whatever, and the part between the if and the then, that's the antecedent, and the antecedents go in front of the conditional, so B, then, and this is not A. Everybody understand that? Okay. We'll try to write higher on the board to make it easier for everybody. So that was 11. So 12. It says Al likes Airedales, that's A. And then it says and or Darla has a wiener dog. Okay. Now, when people use the expression and or, what they're trying to make clear is that they are using the inclusive or, right? This one or that one, or both. Okay. And since our symbol for or is the inclusive or, all we have to do is that. Everybody got that? Okay. What number was that? That was 12, so 13. Darla has a wiener dog, that's D. Is a sufficient condition for Al likes Airedales. Okay, let me write this. Is a sufficient condition for Al likes Airedales. Okay. Is a sufficient condition for is a conditional. If you go look in our box of words and phrases that amount to expressing a conditional, you'll see is a sufficient condition for. Now the question is, well, which one of these, the D or the A, is the antecedent? Which goes in front? And I gave you a memory trick, and that was when it's a sufficient condition for, the order stays the same. So we just keep the same order. So it's D, then A. Okay? So that takes us to 14. And 14 says, Darla has a wiener dog, is a necessary condition for Al likes Airedales, okay? This too is a necessary condition for, is found in our list of expressions that equate to a conditional. So we know we have a conditional. Now the question is, which is the antecedent, which is the consequent, D or A? Well, the memory trick was, if it says, is a necessary condition for, it is necessary to switch the order, which means the first thing goes last and the last thing goes first, so it would be A, hook, D. Does everybody understand that? And remember, you can't do this, you can't just point the horseshoe the other way and say, well, it's pointing at the antecedent. We have no such symbol. Does everybody understand that? So you can't flip this symbol around. You have to flip those around to get it right. 15. Bob likes beagles implies that Catherine has a Catahoula. Okay. Now, we certainly know that this is not an and or an or. And if you looked, you'll see it's on our list of conditionals. So this is a conditional, okay? And we have this rule in the conditional that says this: whatever falls, if